So today we'll discuss about the key features of the budget. Like yesterday I have shown you on the website of the indiabudget.gov.in how they have categorized their all those documents. Fine. There are multiple documents. Like you go on the website, you will find multiple documents on there. Right? So these are the multiple documents. But as I said yesterday, all the documents is not for us. Us means for civil services preparation. Few points, especially this one, key to the budget document, which we have discussed yesterday. Fine. Where all those documents I have mentioned you, these are the documents which are being presented by the government in the budget process. Fine. So A, B, C, D, fine. So A, B, C, annual financial statement, fine. Demand for grants, financial bill, finance bill. These three are constitutional obligation on the government. Whereas the fourth one, this is a fiscal policy statement mandated under Fiscal Responsibility and Budgetary Management Act. Fine. So this is the document which is under FRB obligation, and these are E to L. They are just explanatory in the nature for the explanation of the budget document which is presented by the government. Fine. Apart from that, if you see budget highlights, what are the key budget features, main features of the budget of that year. So one is key to budget, which is showing that in what government is going to present and in what way government is going to present. So when you will go to this document, fine. So majority of the social media platforms or all those people who are uploading, fine. So they are basically using this one, this document, India's economic trajectory, Viksit Bharat, balancing ambitions with inclusion, action over ambivalence, reforms over rhetoric, people over populism. So there is one way of explaining this PDF. Fine. What is this? But I have chosen the more critical path where we will not just explain, we will also go to examine what government is saying that to what extent it is not complete. For example, action over ambition, reforms over rhetoric, people over populism. So what it means that people over populism, what is the meaning of it? Action over ambivalence. So you should understand the meaning of these words and why they are being mentioned in the budget document. So one by one, we will decode. Fine. So please write there. The document's opening claim, right? The document's opening claim is that India's economic trajectory is right in the inverted commas, Vikasit Bharat, comma, balancing ambition with inclusion. Vikasit Bharat, balancing ambition with inclusion. Anchored in three slogans. Action over ambivalence, comma, reforms over rhetoric, comma, people over populism. Right? Alongside aims like moderate inflation, comma, sustained growth, fiscal discipline. Now, this one is special because it is usually not mentioned in the previous budgets. What I am going to mention here, fiscal discipline, comma, reduced critical important dependencies. And energy security. So moderating the inflation, sustaining the growth, fiscal discipline, and energy security. These are the mainstay for India's economic landscape. Fine. So Indian economy's landscape, moderate inflation, fine, fiscal discipline, fine, then energy security. India is an energy deficient country. So securing the energy is a very important aspect of India's economic landscape and India's policy making. But this time they have specifically emphasized here critical important dependencies. Critical important dependencies means here the direct hint is India is focusing on self-reliant India. We should not be dependent on certain things which are critical in the nature, and still we are dependent on other foreign countries. Fine. And that hint is reflected in the form of India's critical material mission. Fine. So rare earth critical minerals mission is basically a reflection of the government. Though there are certain things, as I told you yesterday about defense expenditure, government has separately allocated somewhere around $8 billion. Fine, $8 billion only for the development of the jet engine in India. Fine, and government is going to very soon sign a contract with French company Safran to develop a jet engine in India. Fine, so that our dependency on such a critical technology like engine should not be there. Fine, and recently you have seen that Wings India happened in Hyderabad. Fine, if you do not know, just informing you, Wings India happened. So two important agreements happened there. Fine, with Embraer, a company of Brazil, and one more agreement with the Sukhoi jet, which is going to be manufactured by HAL, in order to make sure that the aircraft manufacturing complete ecosystem from manufacturing, maintenance, repair, and overhaul, entire ecosystem should be developed in the country. So government is focusing on this critical aspect. So if someone is going to ask you which one is the most important aspect which is unique in this budget, answer is government's focus on reducing the dependency on critical technologies. Fine. Government is trying to make sure if we are heading towards the higher development goal, we have to ensure that we should not dependent on critical technologies on other countries. And all those developed countries and all those countries who are not claimed by themselves कि I'm a superpower, but they are being recognized as a major power. All these countries are having self-reliant on technology. Fine. So this is why private investment or private expenditure is slow, then government automatically have to step in. Of course, if the private sector is not performing well, then to sustain the economy, government have to step in. That is true. Fine. Again, I am telling you, if a private sector is not performing well, then to sustain the economic growth, it is government who have to step in and to sustain the economy. But at the same time, government also have to explain the reasons why private sector is not growing and how we are trying to put private sector on right track. This is expected by the government in the economic survey. So in the survey, government have to explain why government have stepped in despite being an orientation towards capitalist economy. Till then 1991, our orientation was socialist economy. But after 1991, we have inclined towards capitalist economy. So when you are inclined towards capitalist economy, government action should be limited. Fine. Government action in the economy should be limited in the nature, mostly regulatory in the nature. Fine. Or rule setting in the nature rather than playing with those rules. Fine. So here government is expected to provide the reasons and the causes or explanation to why it is not happening, why private sector is not working properly. For example, one possible explanation is disruption in the supply chain, unilateralism, minilateralism, where countries are trying to shift. Like for example, Apple have decided to expand their production facility in India. But at the same time, US government asked the Apple company CEO and they have literally threatened you have to shift the production line to where? US. But such kind of the reasons can be given as an explanation. These are the reasons why the private sector is facing a lot of heat. And usually private sector have a limited amount of resources. Fine, limited amount of the resources. And if with that limited resources, things are not going to work properly. Fine. If they are not going to work properly, it will create a lot of problem for the private sector who have limited resources. Okay, who have limited resources. So private sector is always very conscious. They are going to invest only when they are properly assured. If today Afghanistan government will say that we will give you the incentive, 0% interest, do you think any private sector company is going to establish their plant in Afghanistan? No. Answer is no. Even not in Pakistan. Like Balochistan, highly mineral rich province of the Pakistan. Fine. Free of cost, they are providing the land. Free of cost. You want to establish a factory, if you want to establish a refinery, if you want to establish, and yes, that mineral rich, fine, huge gold deposits, rare earth, fine, they are in the huge deposit, not just deposit, huge deposit is in the Balochistan province, but still no company want to go there. Gwadar port, which is developed by whom? China. But China himself believing that Gwadar port, the amount of investment they have did there, somewhere around $20 billion they have invested. And the operational capacity of that Gwadar port is somewhere around $900 million in a year. Fine. So if you have borrowed somewhere, you have got a $20 billion. Na? So you have invested $20 billion over the period of 20 years. You have developed a port with an expectation that it is going to generate or it is going to have a business of at least $1 to $2 billion in a year. Fine, but still it is not generating. So it is an economic failure of whom? China. Because the insurgencies and highly unstable political things at where? Balochistan. Balochistan in the Pakistan. Might be Balochistan like a Bangladesh in few time. Fine. But anyways, it is a issue. So
there is an explanation कि भाई there is a political instability, but government of India have not provided any kind of the reason even in the economic survey. Everywhere government said that ki we are doing this have performed in this way, we are concerned for this, in order to resolve this concern we are doing this, but they have never went for this one. They always claim that ki this is 7.3% our good economic growth. So this is how we have to analyze something. We should not only go for only good things or only bad things. A proper balanced analysis which is including both. What are the right things are happening, what need to be done, and what is missing. So usually while writing an answer, what we do? What is happening, what need to be done. But we usually miss this thing, ki what is missing, the missing link. Fine. So that need to be addressed. Now write the next heading, action over ambivalence. After this, give a next heading, reforms over rhetoric. Reforms over rhetoric. The budget document claims over 350 reforms. The budget document claims over 350 reforms and explicitly naming GST simplification comma, implementation of labor codes, and rationalization of control orders. Rationalization of control orders. Full stop, right further. The reform is not the same as policy. Policy churn, CHURN. Policy churn. Right further, the promise is that India is shifting. The promise is that India is shifting from incremental changes to institutional changes. Incremental changes to institutional changes. Underline this, incremental changes to institutional changes. Right further in the same, without putting a full stop, right there, institutional changes that lowers transaction cost, comma, reduced uncertainty, and enable firms to scale. Especially in labor, comma, logistics, compliance and manufacturing competitiveness. Fine. Now just write a note, then I'll explain this one. Write a note. Government of India is taking major rationalization of quality control order. Government of India is taking major rationalization of quality control order. QCO, quality control orders, QCO. Fine. To balance the need for high quality safe products with the requirements of ease of doing business, particularly for MSME sector. In the financial year 25-26, government has taken following steps. Number 1, revocation of unnecessary QCOs. Revocation of unnecessary QCOs. Fine. Now, see, when government says that we are on the reforms express, fine, we are on reforms express, means government is going for reforms process in the large manner. So when we are doing reforms, fine, so reforms is not for incremental changes. Reforms is for institutional changes. What it means that? Not for small changes, it is not for incremental changes, it is for institutional changes. Now, what is the difference in the approach? So earlier, what we are doing, if something wrong is happening, let's correct it. Fine. So, for example, when we go for any engineering model, fine. So suppose that you are designing a car. Okay. So when you are designing a car, so you have designed that, and after the designing phase is completed, now you are going to create a real model of the car. Fine. So now the real model of the car is prepared. Now you are going to test it. Fine. So the testing is going to start only when the model is fixed by the company. This is going to be our next model of the car. So if company have completed a design phase, fine. So if company is saying that we have completed a design phase, now we are entering in the prototype phase. What it means that? Means design is freezed, and on that design only we are going to construct. And if any problem will come while testing that product, we will make the changes at where? We'll make the changes at that level. We are not going to question the design itself. So we have designed the car, we have went for critical design review is complete. Now it will enter in the prototype phase. Certain prototypes will be completed, like suppose that 10 prototype we have made, and now we will drive the car in the different areas, different location, different environment, fine, to test whether the car is performing well in the every area or not. If some problem will come, then we will make certain changes in order to improve the performance of the car. So this change is called as an incremental change. Fine. Minor changes you have did. But if we have decided, fine, let's go back to the drawing page. Fine. And let's start a complete new design for the car. For example, in India, few days back, a new car is being launched by Renault Duster. And Duster was a car which have introduced in India the concept of compact SUV. Otherwise, in India, people are purchasing sedan. Fine. But it was a Duster car which has completely changed the complexion in Indian consumers' mindset. Car सिर्फ लंबी नहीं, ऊंची भी होनी चाहिए. It should not be just a lengthy, it should be have a proper height. So this was a Duster. Fine. And since then, they are selling the same Duster in India. Fine. Same duster car. Whereas in the Europe, they went for duster 1, duster 2, duster 3. So 3 designs they have introduced. But in India, they keep selling the same duster. Same thing Toyota is also doing. Fine. Toyota is also doing. But the moment Renault have realized that we are losing the market in India. Fine. There are other car companies, especially homegrown car companies, they are producing better design, better facility. So we have to completely change our model. So they went back to the drawing board. They have went for completely new design of the car, and they came. So this is called as institutional change. Fine. When we want to complete overhaul the system, not only to make it workable, but when we want to make our system future ready. Fine. So what Indian economy is, what institution we do have in our country, these institutions, they are good for the existing volume of the business done by the firms. But it is not good for a developed economy after 20 years, like our banking system. So what banking system we do have? So primarily in India, banks are driven for retail requirements. Retail requirement means account open karna hai. I have to open the account, fine, withdrawal, account opening, fine, or implementation of various government schemes. But if you'll go to any developed country, are they involved in more retail business or institutional business? Answer is more institutional business rather than retail business. So it is a requirement to see the banking sector from completely different perspective. So this is why the incremental change is not enough. We have to go for institutional change in the financial system. Fine, this is what it means that. But for the implementation of it, government have to take a hard steps. Fine, not a soft steps, you have to take a hard steps. And under that hard steps, government said that, okay, fine, even if the GST rate rationalization is going to bring less taxable income for the government, still we will go for it. So government have rationalized the GST rates. Then government have implemented labor codes. Fine, labor codes. Now this aspect of QCO. Fine, though it is a big thing, but if you see the mainstream media, when I say mainstream media, it is related to mainstream civil services media. Fine, so certain channels, certain platforms, they have reported, fine, but they have not reported in a significant manner. Though it is as impactful as it is done by government with the GST and labor codes. So a lot of articles, lot of videos, lot of content is being published for GST reforms and as well as for labor codes. But if you search, you will find hardly 1 or 2 articles with respect to QCO. But actually the QCO was the main focus of the government in this financial year, because government have completely zeroed on the growth of MSME sector. Fine. Political rhetoric is there that government is going for only big business houses. But actually, if you'll see the policy making in past 1 year, government is zeroing on whom? MSME sector, not only financially, but when MSME is going to make a product. Fine. So product need to be a certain quality control. Fine. For example, this issue came when the cough syrup. Fine. So the cough syrup is manufactured by certain firms and they are having high element of certain metals which are too dangerous for the kids. So it is an issue of drug controlling authority in India. How they have allowed? How it is possible a kind of drug is being administered to the kids? Doctor ko arrest kar liya. They arrested the doctor. Doctor is giving the same medicine to kids for past 20 years. And you arrested the doctor. Who should be arrested? 2 people should be arrested. One, those who are approving the quality control and the manufacturer. Though in the last person who was arrested, that was manufacturer. Still, there is a no credibility question on Drug Controlling Authority of India. How it is passed from you? It should not be passed from you. Fine. It should not be passed from you. And that is why, like, if you'll purchase certain products, especially for food, fine. So sometimes it is written that US FDA approved. US FDA approved. Fine. So what is US FDA? United Nations Food and Drug Control Authority. So it is considered as a world's best agency to check the quality control on food and drug. If they have approved, that means it is safe to consume anywhere in the world. So even a manufacturer in India who is not even selling his product in USA, what they will do, they will manufacture their product, they will send to US FDA for their certification. So once they will get the certification from US FDA, they will label it and they will sell it. So this is called quality control. Okay, it is certified. I have told you earlier also, there is one speaker system, means when you listen to the music now, so there is a THS certification. So highest quality of the speaker, only them they are going to get that THS certification. Otherwise, the certification will be not given. And if the certification is there, the product is going to be cost, a normal earphones is going to be cost 20 to 30,000 minimum. Quality control. So quality control assures that your product is going to have a proper sale or not. Now the pattern in India is highly uneven. In certain sectors, we have too much unnecessary quality control, and in some sectors where the really quality is required, fine. If it is of not good quality, it will be rejected. Fine. There we do have very less control. And certain sectors where quality control is not necessarily that required. Here we have multiple lines. So government want to rationalize it. So government have, the first step, government have removed all those unnecessary quality control checks. Fine. This is not required, this is not required, this is not required. This is what you have written. That is revocation of unnecessary QCOs. Fine. Next point. Focus on risk-based regulation. Focus on risk-based regulation. Risk-based regulation. Write in this. Focus on risk-based regulation by implementing recommendation of high-level committee which has recommended shifting away from blanket QCOs to a risk-based approach. Blanket QCOs to a risk-based approach, comma, focusing on products critical to public safety, while easing controls on raw materials. So on raw materials, we have huge quality control, and on the finished product, there is a less quality control. So raw material should have less quality control, whereas the finished good have higher quality control, and especially those goods which are related to public safety. Fine. So public safety, for example, fire extinguisher. Fine. Fire extinguisher. So if the fire extinguisher is being manufactured by a company, that fire extinguisher should have highest level of certification and quality control. Fine. Whereas if it is a raw material like wheat, rice, so there should not be too much quality control on it, because unnecessarily it will take a long time to pass those quality control norms, and it is unnecessarily going to delay. And the MSME sector is the biggest victim of it. If it is a big company like RIL, Reliance Industries Limited, so they will immediately dial direct to home, finance ministry. Fine, they can immediately dial to the finance ministry. But a small company which is based in Hyderabad and they are supplying to nearby states some iron pipes. Fine. So if they are supplying that and they are facing some quality control issue, fine, by the government's department, so they have to wait, or unnecessarily you have to involve in the corrupt practices by bribing them. Fine. So unnecessarily delay is happening. So in this context, government want to improve the quality control. Fine. So this was the second step. Now write the third one. Not in this one. In the note it is completed. First was action over ambivalence. Second is reforms over rhetoric. Now write the third one. Third one is people over populism. What is populism? What is populism? An example of populism? On YouTube Live, you want to give, if government is listening, I'll just mention your name only. Huh? Caste politics is not populism. तुम थे कहाँ अभी तक? अभी भी एग्जाम चल रहा तुम्हारा? हो गया? Okay. What is populism? Populism is going to help to control the fiscal deficit or create the problem for the managing the fiscal deficit. Creating the problem for managing of fiscal deficit. One example, free bus service for all women. Not for all women. They have access to free bus service. Fine. Do you think, I'm asking to all of you, do you think all women need a free bus pass? Then why you are using it? Because it is a free. Fine. So this is the question which I have just asked. You means public have to ask the government ki why you are providing such a scheme. Free for all. Fine. And the question should be raised in the manner ki how this free is going to be provided by the government to the public, from where you have increased the source of revenue. At a one point, government is crying ki we have very limited sources of the income, and with that anyhow we are running our state or our country. Fine. And when it is about providing certain schemes, freebies, fine, then government is opening a Pandora's box. Fine. Tum bhi le jao, tum bhi le jao, tum bhi le jao. Take everyone. And it is not about one political party. This is a common practice, not only in India, but around the world. Fine. So this populism, ultimately, who is going to suffer? Public only suffer. So today, what you are getting free, and that is why sometimes recruitment got delayed. So something is free, but how it is going to translate? When government of India or state governments are saying that we are going to delay the recruitment, we are going to decrease the recruitment. Why? Because you do not have the resources. Why you do not have the resources? Because resources you are using to win the election. Fine. Resources you are using to win the election. So this is called populism. So when government's expenditure is oriented to win the election rather than to sustain the economy. And remember that to sustain the economy, not only good decisions, some bad decisions from the public point of view also need to be taken. Some hard decisions need to be taken. Fine. Latest example मैं आपको बताता हूँ. The latest example, Japanese Prime Minister. She announced that. What she announced that? No. First she announced कि I am planning to do this. And I am going to resign. I am going to resign. So if you feel that what I am planning to do, it is correct, it is okay, only then vote me back in the power. Otherwise, no need to vote me back in the power. But if you will vote me in the power, I am going to do this. So this is public over populism. So where you are going to be very clear, I am going to do this only when you will support me. So tomorrow you cannot say that the government have cheated us. Government who was in the government, they have announced you we have this plan, we have this strategy, and if you will vote me, you will elect me, only then I will go for it. So she announced that the Japanese government is going to be more aggressive in capital expenditure by going for huge borrowings in order to revive the economy. Japan has already have one of the highest debt in the world. But still Japanese government said that they are going to borrow more in order to revive the economy, because I feel that there is no other option apart from it to revive the Japanese economy. So even if it is required, I'll go for extra and heavy borrowings. And after that, she resigned. So now it is in the hand of whom? Public. So even sometimes populism can be translated into the public. Fine. So public versus populism means I am not going to worry about to take some hard decisions. It is like that election is about to happen and some political party have announced that after winning the election, I am going to revoke the free bus passes. Do you think any political party in India is going to announce such things? No. Fine. But government is saying that we are going to focus on people over populism. और लखपति दीदी का scheme चला रहे हैं. Fine. Right there. This slogan claims a distinction. This slogan claims a distinction between targeted capability building. The slogan claims a difference between targeted capability building, in brackets, right? Health, skills, jobs, resilience. Health, skills, job, resilience. Bracket close. Targeted capability building and politically convenient consumption transfer. That do not raise long-term earning power. That do not raise long-term earning power. So if someone is going to ask you the definition of populism, tell him I can give you the definition not politically, but economic definition. And according to the economic definition of populism, populism is politically convenient consumption transfer that do not raise long-term earning power. So when you are looking for certain expenditure and the objective is to win the election rather than to developing the capability. Fine, rather than developing the capability. Such expenditure will fall in the category of populism. So when it is said to the government, you are running, government of India is running the Lakpati Didi, fine, or Lakpati Didi kind of the schemes, then, so government said that our scheme is looking for long-term income sustainment rather than short-term political gains. And this is what the other political parties are also claiming. Like, for example, in the government of Telangana, when they have extended, when they have extended the free bus passes, their point was women already in comparison to global rate. In the global level, the women participation in the labor force is reaching somewhere around 45% to 48%. Whereas in India, it is still what? 35 to 36% in the labor force participation. So in India, labor force participation, the women's participation is already too low. So in order to increase it, it is one of the steps we have taken to provide free service of the transportation in the state-run buses. Fine. So that it will be more convenient for the women to go from house to workplace. Fine. So this is what they have explained. This is our view in order to increase this participation. So others are seeing it as a short-term politically convenient goal. Whereas if you see, it is not short-term politically convenient goal, but it is long-term earning goal, then it is people-oriented. But if it is short-term politically oriented means to win the election and to be remain in the power or to come in the power. Like during the Bihar election, one political party have said that every family is going to get a government job. फाइन. अब कौन सा था वो आप जानो, मेरे को नहीं जानना उसमें. फाइन. बट दे हैव सेड दैट कि वी आर गोइंग टू गिव यू द जॉब. Every family is going to get a one government job. Fine. But when the data is being collected, fine, the total government of India have employee. Fine. If one family is whatever the number of employees to the government of India, fine. Obviously, the total government of India employees are more than the employees of government in the state of Bihar. So, state of Bihar have a n number of employees. Government of India have n to the power 4. More number of employees in the government of India. So even if government of India is going to say that, if you will vote my party in the Bihar election, the power, and if you will come to the power, we will give you the job in the central government. Central government is also not going to fulfill. And how you can give? How you can give? What is the rationale? What is the basis? Fine. And you do not have any explanation for that. Fine. What is your goal and objective? To provide job to every family in the government. So remember that any announcement by the government or a political party which is not having a long-term income sustainment objective, it will be called as populism. If any policy of the government is just looking forward for the long-term rise in the income, health, education, then it will be fall in the category of public oriented scheme. And if any announcement by the government is not with this objective, it will fall in the category of populism. Understood? Right further. Now write a critical analysis. Write a critical analysis. A clear message from the budget document is government's focus on investment-led action. Government's focus on investment-led action within a fiscal rule set. Within a fiscal rule set, which is visible in high capital expenditure, in brackets 12 lakh crores, in brackets 12 lakh crores, bracket close, and a stated consolidation path, Fine. In brackets 4.3% fiscal deficit, 4.3% fiscal deficit, and reaching to debt to GDP ratio, of how much? 50 plus minus 1%. Remember this data. 50 plus minus 1. वो plus ही रहेगा, but government is saying that plus minus 1. So 50% plus 1 आप लिखो, right? The 50% plus 1, because we are already 2 plus. Too much plus, fine. So 50% plus 1, government is planning to have a debt to GDP ratio, fine. But at the same time, government is also saying that we want more and more investment. So this is the good part of the budget, where government is committed for investment-led growth, but at the same time, government also want to contain their fiscal deficit. Okay, right further there. This supports the credibility of ambition with inclusion. Ambition with inclusion. Fine. So we have praised the government, fine, the government is committed for very good things. Then we are going to say, however, right, however, the biggest shortcoming is that write in the inverted commas, action. Write in inverted comma, action, inverted comma close, remains capex heavy. Remains capex heavy, but governance light. Capex heavy, governance light. What it means that capex heavy, governance light? Capex is high, but governance is poor. So governance is poor means the implementation of those policies in India is still a questionable thing. Fine. So though you have made a very big promise, कि we will do this, we will do that, but usually in the government sector, what happens? Capex is heavy, but governance is light or poor. Right there further. Meaning success will depends upon execution, but unfortunately it is not a dominant public accountability standard in India. It is not dominant public accountability standard in India at yet. So this is a slap on you, means you miss us. Fine. So for us, it is what government is going to offer. Fine. So just like you, I also usually scroll the social media whenever I want to enjoy myself. Fine. So I was just watching certain videos of the people who have explained the budget. Fine. One video, and he was saying that explain the budget in 12 minutes. 12 minutes to मुझे introduction में लग गया, and he explained the entire budget in 12 minutes. And certain people are saying that मजा नहीं आया. Fine, we are not able to enjoy the popular meme India. मजा नहीं आया. ठीक है. So they are going for this. अरे भाई, budget is something not like that कि आपको मजा लेना है. You are not here to enjoy with the budget. Budget is a kind of a book of all the expenditures and receipts of the government of India, where government tells us how we are going to run our country. Fine. So what government is going to offer us? We are more interested in the budget. If you'll ask any common person in India, what is your interest in the budget? So their interest in the budget, what government is going to give and how much government less going to take from us. how the tax are going to reduce, and what facilities are government going to provide. Fine. If the same question is going to be asked by his son or daughter to him, he is going to slap. Fine. If the same question is being asked in a family, what question? I am going to earn less, but I have to spend more. If you demand your parents, I want more money from you, then they are going to show their account book. कि बेटा इतनी सैलरी मिलती है हमें गवर्नमेंट से, we are getting this amount of salary, how I can spend more? Then you can, if you are going to say that, then why you are demanding from the government more? Fine. So this is the problem. We do not have an accountability standard. What question I have asked you, again I am asking the same question. Whenever government make an announcement that we are going to spend this amount of money, do we ask this question, how? From where you are going to get this funded? Whether you are going to fund through certain tax or you are going to fund through what? How you will fund? This is the critical question need to be set for the accountability standards, where the public should be going to ask this question to the government, how you are going to do this? You are going to do this, fine, but how? How you are going to find the money 40,000 crores? How you are going to find the money 70,000 crores? And in the past, what you have announced, have you fulfilled? Have you put it for the social audit? Any social audit report is available? What expenditure you have made in the past? Answer is no. So this is what it is the biggest flaw in this country, कि we are more focused on what is government is going to provide rather than putting a pressure on the government on the public accountability. Fine. This is number one. Right. Number two. Number two means in the next paragraph you can write the second concern. The second concern is that reform may become asymmetric in impact. Reforms may become asymmetric in impact. Asymmetric in impact. Because for example, labor codes can under-deliver. Labor codes can under-deliver if state rules, comma, enforcement design and dispute system lag. Enforcement design, dispute system lag. Creating reform on the paper. Creating reform on the paper, but not reform on the paper, but not in firm behavior. But not in firm behavior, comma, investment, and job quality. Investment and job quality. Right in the next line. The third issue is the continued exposure to critical import dependencies. If India remains highly import dependent, in crude oil and key components, like permanent magnets, and other critical technologies. India will remain vulnerable. India will remain vulnerable to external shocks. In order to address all those issues, government need to be governance heavy, along with what was heavy earlier and lighter? Capex, along with heavy capex. So this is an overall summary. You can say that it is an overall summary of the budget which is presented by the finance minister on 1st of February. Fine. Now let's dive deep in the sector-wise manner, for which sector what she have announced and what is the significance of that announcement. Fine. So please write there. First point, you can mention a key highlight. Key highlights related to macroeconomic framework. Key highlights related to macroeconomic framework and fiscal policy. Though you already know all of this which we have discussed, but writing in the points is important, so please write it there. Total outlay of budget 53 lakh crores, right there. Total outlay 53 lakh crores. Capital expenditure, right there, 12 lakh crores. Fiscal deficit target 4.3% of GDP. Fiscal deficit target 4.3% of GDP. For which financial year? 26-27. Fine. Debt trajectory. Debt to GDP 50% plus 1. माइनस नहीं होगा, प्लस ही रखो. 50% प्लस 1 लिख लो. अच्छा, गवर्नमेंट बोल रहा तो लिख लो प्लस माइनस 1. 50% प्लस माइनस 1. बाय विच ईयर? बाय विच ईयर? यस, बाय 30-31. बाय फाइनेंशियल ईयर 30-31. फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2030-31. We have to reach 50% plus minus 1 of debt to GDP ratio. 50% plus 1 targets for which year? Not for 26-27. Fine. We are already at 80. Right? This is the target for which year? This is classic case of कि we will always show you which we are going to do in the distant future, not going to tell you कि what we are going. See, अब देखो जो मैं आपको बोल रहा था, what I was saying to you. Government said that 50% debt to GDP by which year? 2030-31. They said that कि we are going to reach this. How you are going to reach this? By you have to tell कि in this year, means 26-27, our target is to reach this point. 27-28, we will reach to this point. 28-29, we will reach this point. And 29-30, we will reach this point. And then we will reach 50% plus minus 1 by 30-31. This is not government said that. Government directly give you the churn of how much? Churn also? Do you understand churn? No?
After eating food,
After eating food?
वो लेता है ना सर for digestion.
Some sort of sweet salt thing which usually given to the children's, fine, so that they cannot get proper taste, whether it is sweet or it is tangy, fine. So they are fine. So they are going for this, but they are not going to get an exact idea. So churan dena means you are just trying to put the things on drag. आप drag कर रहे हो चीजों को. You are trying to drag it rather than trying to give the precise reason, precise answer. So government just have said that this one. And why they have did that? Because here they have made a promise. What promise they have made with respect to this one? Fiscal policy statement mandated under fiscal responsibility, budgetary management, macroeconomic framework statement, along with medium term policy cum fiscal strategy, fiscal policy strategy statement. तो आपने क्या किया बता दिया वहां पर, just you have mentioned that कि देखो बाबू, here we are going to do what, 50% plus minus 1, and for the medium term it is how much, 31. Fine, because no one is going to have an interest apart from UPSC to ask this question in the exam. What is the target set by the government to achieve the 50% debt to GDP ratio? And even if the UPSC is going to miss, everyone is going to miss. Fine. So this is what sometimes happen by the government, just to dragging the things rather than providing the exact way how we will achieve. And they are same time they are calling at कि we are reform oriented, we are action oriented, and we are people oriented rather than populism. But you are not telling this, which is the most crucial aspect. Fine. So this need to be addressed. So we have wrote about fiscal deficit, debt trajectory, capital expenditure, total outlay. Right? Now write what is for industries. Give a heading. What is for industries? What is for industries in budget 26-27. And like finance minister start with biopharma Shakti. Fine. So biopharma Shakti. Right, number 1. Biopharma Shakti. Shakti means? Huh? Power. Shakti means, right, strategy for healthcare. गॉडेस नहीं होता है यहाँ पर, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का है, ठीक है. पब्लिक डोमेन में शक्ति का मतलब हो सकता है गॉडेस, डिफरेंट पीपल डिफरेंट परसेप्शन. फाइन. स्ट्रेटजी फॉर हेल्थ केयर एडवांसमेंट. Strategy for healthcare advancement through knowledge, technology, and innovation. Strategy for healthcare advancement through knowledge, technology, and innovation. You will also do the same thing when you become an IAS officer. This is one of the most important responsibilities senior IAS officer have to do, to get the word on which political class is very convenient to speak. They will not forget. अब अगर आपने मिनिस्टर को भी बोल दिया कि सर आपको ये बोलना है, strategy for healthcare advancement through knowledge and technology and Toyota Innova. नहीं, sorry. Innovation. If you are going to give such a big name, do you think they are able to call it? No. And if you are going to make a short acronymy, again they will not able to call it. So that is why some acronymy should be given, which is more convenient for whom? Everyone, especially who? Those who are going to speak on that matter. So that is why Shakti, Shanti, fine. All these names are given for this purpose. so that it will be easy and convenient for the public in order to recall it. So Biopharma Shakti, fine. Though COVID have already gone and it is 4 or 5 years, but during the COVID it was realized by the government of India at a point of time we are providing the vaccines to the entire world. Fine. But apart from that, there is always a possibility to see the biopharma sector, and especially when you are looking towards European Union trade deal. Fine. So India's pharmacy sector is a very strong sector in the world. Fine. So in fact, it can be called as a biopharmacy capital of the world, India, and especially your city, Hyderabad. Fine. So it's a kind of a biopharmacy powerhouse in India. Fine. A lot of biopharmacy companies are here. So in order to further boost that, government have announced 10,000 crore through Biopharma Shakti program. What are the main features of it? Please write there. Under Biopharma Shakti, government will spend 10,000 crores in next 5 years. 10,000 crores in next 5 years to build ecosystem for domestic production, of biologics and biosimilars. Fine, underline this. Biologics and biosimilars. Second point, I'll explain this one, but first write next point. Existing institutions of allied health professionals, AHP, allied health professionals will be upgraded and new AHP institutions established in private and government sector. Next point, government will also emphasize on strong care ecosystem. Next, to promote India as a hub of medical tourism services. Budget proposes to launch a scheme to support states in establishing 5 regional hubs in partnership with private sector. Government has also announced setup of 3 new All India Institutes of Ayurveda. 3 All India Institute of, not medical sciences, All India Institutes of Ayurveda. and upgrade Ayush, AYUSH, Ayush pharmacies and drug testing labs for higher standards of certification ecosystem. Government will also upgrade the WHO Global Traditional Medicine Center. WHO Global Traditional Medicine Center in Jamnagar. There is always a traffic jam there. That is why it is Jamnagar. No, not for that reason. Jamnagar is at where? Gujarat. Of course. You know that, Gujarat. Why Jamnagar is famous? Refinery. World's largest refining hub. Though there are 2 refineries, so if you combine 2 refineries, that refining hub is the world's largest refining hub in the world. Fine. So it's an important city, and here WHO Global Traditional Medicine Center is also there. Please underline it. WHO Global Traditional Medicine Center at Jamnagar. Fine. Please underline this one and write further Jamnagar to bolster BOLSTER. Don't look at me, please write. Bolster evidence-based research, training and awareness of traditional medicine. One more point. Finance Minister also announced NIMHANS 2. NIMHANS 2. What is it? National Mental Health. Where it is? Bengaluru. He know that. Have you visited there? Why?
There is one convention center.
Convention center. Acha.
For IEEE meeting.
So for meeting?
Yes, sir.
Meeting with doctor?
No, sir.
No. Acha. Okay. So there is only one institute at present in India, National Mental Health Institute, that is only in Bengaluru right now. But now government under 2.0, they are going to establish at 2 more places. One is Ranchi and another is Tezpur. So please mention there. What you have wrote last? Okay, fine. National Health Institute in Ranchi and Tezpur. National Mental Health Institute in Ranchi and Tezpur. As a regional apex institution. As of right now, it is at where only? Bengaluru. All over the India, only one institute, that is at Bengaluru. Fine. So everyone have to reach there. Fine. But now you are adding 2 more facilities. You can visit there also. Fine. Where? At Ranchi as well as Tezpur. But see the discrepancy here. Don't talk. Listen carefully. It was earlier at where? Bengaluru. So technically, the new 2 institutions should be at different places. But one is in Ranchi and another is going to be at where? Tezpur. That means, again, the eastern part of India is going to be covered by these two. But what about the western part of the India and other part of the India? So you are saying that it is going to be act as a regional hub. But that regional hub is located or concentrated only in one particular area of the country, not covering the entire region. And again and again, I have told you multiple times, the mental health in India is getting a bigger issue day by day. Fine. So that need to be taken with more care. In this regard, government have made this announcement, but this announcement is not sufficient because you have first of all mentioned only 2 places, and both of these places are located only in the particular part of the country, not covering the entire nation. So at least 4 to 5 national health institution, mental health institution is required, but as of right now, we have 1 facility which is going to be further increased to 2. Fine. Now write the next point. Next is semiconductor mission. Semiconductor. What is semiconductor? The person who is sitting in the bus on the seat of conductor, but he is not conductor, but he is performing all the duties of conductor. For part-time, he become a semiconductor. Fine? That is a semiconductor. What is semiconductor? All the people who have did electronics communication engineering either answer or jump to that nala. तुम्हारा कौन सा ब्रांच था? Electronics and communication. Fine. How many of the students who are electronics and communication engineer? Raise the hand. What is semiconductor? What they do? Why they are called semiconductor, not full conductor?
When they are in the excited state, they can be used for conducting.
Sometimes they are conductor, sometimes they are non-conductor. So when I need that thing as a conductor, it will work as a conductor. Otherwise, it will not work as a conductor. Why you want such a device which can partially or act per your command? It will act as a conductor, not always. ये तो basic questions है, बता दो. Why I want such things to act as a conductor only on at my command, not always?
To control the voltage and the data flow.
To control the
voltage and the data flow.
To efficiently use the flow of electricity. Fine. So I want that device should use the electricity only when it is commanded by me, not always. So it will make the usage of energy more efficient. This is the one important property of semiconductor. Fine. Now these semiconductors are getting more and more important day by day. The reason is because these semiconductors are being used in the most of the electronic devices. Fine. And especially in the age of artificial intelligence. If you are not interested in the lecture, please get out from my class. Here you are not sitting for the chit chat. I'll throw you out. It doesn't mean that I am taking the online lecture, so I am not with that same person. I am exactly the same person. If you are not interested, get out. Don't disturb the others and me. You are not here to listen. You are attending the lecture. Fine. So you are here to learn, not to listen only. So if you want to listen, get out from here. If you are not able to sit seriously, I told yesterday also, this lecture is not for everyone. This lecture is for those people who are seriously interested to know this budget in the detailed manner. Because what I am discussing, you will not going to get each and everything in all those things which is being in the media or at the different platform. So I want a serious discussion. If you are not interested, get out from my class. I'll make a pause of 5 minutes. And I don't mind. If you want to go on my face, I don't mind. I will prefer to those people who are having the clarity of their decisions. If you are not, you are the biggest fool in this world. It is a UPSC civil services preparation. Fine. Here you have to do your utter hard work. This nonsense is not going to work for you. And I hate this. Fine. So if you're not interested, get out from here. So Remember that. The semiconductor need is getting more and more important day by day. And especially in past 3-4 years, it have huge rise with the rise of artificial intelligence. Fine. So for artificial intelligence, you have to develop large language models. And for that, you need such a semiconductors who are highly efficient in the usage of energy and having a superior communication, superior computational skills. Fine. And the efficiency of the semiconductors is generally calculated in terms of nanometers. Fine. So as a small size of the semiconductor, it is going to be more useful for the purpose of calculation. Fine. So recently we have made a semiconductor which is of 7 nanometers. Then we have to reach to 5 nanometers. Then 3 to 2 nanometers, which is targeted by the government of India by 2032. So until unless we are going to be in the mission mode, we are going to lag. Recently, when our IT minister went to World Economic Forum Summit, so India was labeled as a second grade power in the artificial intelligence. Fine, because we are lagging, especially in where? Semiconductors. Fine, and who is leading in the world? US. US is leading. Fine. And there is only one company in the world. Not NVIDIA. Yes, which one? ASML, which is having a high preciseness to create a semiconductor base with nanometer preciseness. Only one company, Netherlands based. And because Netherlands is close ally of US. Fine. So they are not allowing other countries. Means US, South Korea, Japan, Australia, only these countries apart from US, they can order direct to whom? ASML. That company. Netherlands-based company. If China is going to order, it will be rerouted through whom? US. Fine. So one company in the world, only one company in the world who is having such a preciseness. Fine. So if tomorrow our relations with US is going to be further deteriorate, fine, our dependency on semiconductors are going to stand still over all the industries. As we are getting highly reliant on artificial intelligence. Fine, from services sector, for all those sectors, gradually there is an integration of artificial intelligence. Fine, and that artificial intelligence in the background, it works on semiconductors. So it is very important for a country to be remain focused on semiconductor if they want to be remain relevant economy. Number one. Number two, with the help of artificial intelligence, the two main reasons why the artificial intelligence was introduced. Why? Why artificial intelligence is introduced? Number one, to decrease the cost of production. Fine. The most important reason for introducing the artificial intelligence in the domain of economy is to reduce the cost. Number two, increase the productivity. So in a given 8 hours of the time, there will be more productivity. So that is why people are gambling on who? Artificial intelligence, AI. Why? Because it is going to hit both sides. At one point, it is going to decrease your cost. Another point, it is going to increase your productivity. So firms are going to increase their profits. And that is why those people who are investing their money, they are investing more and more on the infrastructure of AI. But AI is a program. AI is a intelligent program which can run, which can do the things on its own. But the hardware is required now. Without hardware, how it is going to work? And that hardware is basically based on GPUs. Fine? GPUs. And at the core of those GPUs, what is there? Semiconductor. Fine. Any device which is called as a smart device And what is smart device? A device which have certain sense that this need to be done. Fine. Who can store the memory of your preferences? Fine. So that device become a smart device. Certain things they can execute on their own and they do not need every time your command. That it will be called as a smart device. So any smart device need a certain sort of artificial intelligence. Certain sort of artificial intelligence is required. So what do you think? Artificial intelligence is not existence in this world. It came only 2-3 years back. Answer is no. Artificial intelligence is in existence for past 15 to 20 years. But what is so special about this artificial intelligence? Because it is a generative AI. Fine, it is not just an AI. It is a generative AI which can generate the response on its own. So remote is also a AI, artificial intelligence based. So you have to push the button. So once you are going to push the button, automatically coded commands are there, on or off. So 2 commands. But if you are going to add certain things in such a way so that the moment this TV is open for certain time, fine, certain time, and it has observed no button movement is being there. Again, it is a recorded program. Fine. If the camera is being there, someone is watching that TV and he fell slept. And after certain point of time, that artificial intelligence observed that that person is sleeping and the volume is being decreased, light is being decreased, and at a certain point of time, it is being closed. So this is called generative AI, which can generate its own response by observing the scenarios. Okay, so for that purpose, we need a higher capacity semiconductor. And as I said that, India is lagging. Fine. So in the first round of semiconductor mission, government have tried to get more and more companies in India from around the world to start their semiconductor production. And after getting a good response, government want to make it further. And this time government do not just want to have manufacturing. Government want to have a complete ecosystem. Fine. So suppose you have purchased a sophisticated device, but for its repair, you have to go a service center which is only in that city, other city. Fine. So for example, when people have purchased Apple device in the beginning, fine. When Apple have not launched all the products at the big level, so their service centers are located only in 2 to 3 cities. So if you are using the device in the other city, you have to take that device to that particular city. Why people are so angry with this Ola electric bikes? Why? Because service issue. Fine. So this is why certain companies do not launch their product. Why? Because they know that if I launch my product, I should have a scalability of my service center. So the customer should not get angry because of poor service. Fine. So this is why government of India is basically looking for a scalability of a complete ecosystem of semiconductor manufacturing, all the related things in India. That is why they are calling for Semiconductor Mission 2.0. Fine. Just write few details of this Semiconductor Mission 2.0. Right. Semiconductor 2.0, India Semiconductor Mission. ISM, India Semiconductor Mission 2.0, is announced by Finance Minister during her budget speech. Number 2, the ISM initiative, ISM 2.0. The ISM 2.0 initiative targets full value chain expansion. targets full value chain expansion from equipments and materials production to indigenous IP design. IP design, here IP stand for intellectual property, not internet protocol. It is here intellectual property design, IP design, and 45 critical supply chain, 45 critical supply chains aiming true self-reliance, in the light of global chip shortage. Fine. Right. Next line. This announcement of ISM 2.0 is to ride on momentum from electronics components manufacturing scheme. I'll share the details of this electronic components manufacturing scheme in the PDF form. Fine. In your respective WhatsApp group, you will get this one. Fine. And for the online students, once the video will be uploaded in the form of recorded video, I will attach the PDF of that also. No need to discuss in this session. But this electronic components manufacturing scheme, see, earlier, first of all, government have launched few years back mobile phone manufacturing scheme. And that became a huge hit in India. So that has given a kind of a hope to government of India to scale up electronic manufacturing in India. Usually electronic manufacturing in India at a point of time, it was focused at where? Western countries. Then it is shifted to where? China and other Southeast Asian countries. Fine. And as per WTO agreement, fine. So when this electronic products was on rise, fine, technology was on rising, but initially, if any product it is coming from other country to your country, they have to pay the custom duties. Fine. So under the WTO platform, it was decided ki on the electronic goods, fine, which is being imported, the importer country is not going to introduce more than this duty. Suppose at 20%. So you are not allowed to increase the duty more than 20%. And majority of the manufacturing was happening in the developed countries or some advanced developing countries like Korea. And India was in the disadvantaged position. Fine, because India have to reduce the custom duties. So all things are being imported. So if you will do the domestic manufacturing, fine. So any company who is going to go for domestic manufacturing, then they have to include their own cost. So suppose something is coming from outside, okay? Now you are trying to manufacture the same thing in your country. But if the cost of your product is higher than the cost of the product which is coming from outside, do you think that your product will be sold in the market? Answer is no. Answer is no. Now, because of this reason, your domestic industries are never going to grow. And this is why, despite India become a software giant, India was never able to become a hardware giant. Why? Because domestic companies, they have never went for it. India have tried multiple times. So government have tried the same route what they have tried for automobile sector in 1990s. So in the automobile sector, what government have did? Government have asked multiple automobile companies of the world to come and set up their manufacturing plant at where? India. Establish entire ecosystem of automobile manufacturing in India. So once they have started establishing their manufacturing line in India, in the automobile sector, many of the supply chain got integration with the domestic producers. So in this way, domestic producers got first-hand experience how to handle such a complicated technology. And gradually, they started scaling up their production. From manufacturing the nut bolt and ball bearing, they started manufacturing the spokes, tires, some other parts. And gradually, this manufacturing have allowed and given the confidence to Indian manufacturer to scale up and bring their own model in India, and then sell it outside and make the profits. So the same model government is trying to use in which sector? Semiconductor sector. So that the entire ecosystem of manufacturing should come to India. It will give a very good first-hand experience to Indian manufacturer so that they can also scale up. But there is a risk. And what is the risk? At a point of time, India, for example, in the mobile phone manufacturing, fine, there we do have certain domestic players like Micromax. At a point of time, Macromax and Lava, these are the two companies who are giving a decent competition to foreign players. In fact, Macromax became a top company in the India, but they failed. And now in India, total mobile phone manufacturing in the hand of Chinese, Koreans, and American companies. Apple, Samsung, Redmi, और पता नहीं कौन कौन से मी है, fine. All these, see, this Oppo, Vivo, fine. All these are of one company only. Xiaomi, fine. So all this manufacturing in India is dominated by who? Chinese company. So Indian companies are not able to rise. Why? Because you have bought the mobile phone manufacturing, but you have not bought the entire ecosystem. Now government is clear, we are not going to commit the same mistake what we have committed in the case of mobile phones. Though, still it is helpful. Why? Because when the iPhone was manufactured outside, fine. So India is paying same. Like suppose to purchase an iPhone, if you are paying, suppose $600, fine, $600 you are paying. So earlier what is happening? This iPhone, which is manufactured at where? China. It got imported in India. Import came to India. India paid how much? India paid in the rupees. India paid is in rupees. So considering 80 rupees, how much total money you have paid? 48,000. So 48,000 you have paid. Fine. That 48,000 will be translated into how many dollars? $600. So ultimately, you have lose how much? $600. Went to where? It went to first China. Now suppose in this device, the profit of Apple is $100. Fine. Remaining is a cost. Remaining is a cost. So cost of manufacturing went to where? China. So $500 received by whom? China, and $100 reached to where? US. Now, if this Apple device is manufactured in India, only outflow of how much? $100 will be there. So we are able to save import value of how much? $500. So this is why still we will focus on domestic manufacturing, even if the domestic manufacturers are not going to be get benefited. Usually our task is go for domestic manufacturing. High-end product will be manufactured in India. And with this high-end manufacturing, domestic players are also going to learn and they will introduce their domestic high-end product. But even if they are not able to do, still will emphasize on domestic manufacturing of high-end product so that the precious foreign currency which we are losing through what? Imports. Earlier we are losing how much? $600. Now we are losing how much only? $100. So it will help you to decrease your imports. So there is one thing which is called import substitution. Fine. And other thing is substitute the import by domestic manufacturing. Fine. So this is why there is a huge difference between make in India and made in India. So if Apple-like company in India, like suppose they are Apple, we are orange or mango, fine. तो हमने अपना brand launch कर दिया, mango apple, ठीक है? वो Apple है, हमने अपना mango apple बना दिया. So that mango device, suppose that it is manufactured by an Indian. Fine. Indian company is manufacturing a mobile phone named as a Mango. Fine. And it is being sold around the world. So then we will call it as a made in India. If Apple device is being manufactured, it will be remain as a make in India. So the biggest benefit of make in India is first, you are going to substantially decrease your imports. Second thing, it will give a good experience to the domestic manufacturer to go for higher end technology. So with this, government have revised their mobile phone manufacturing incentives, and they want complete electronic manufacturing in India. But when you have electronic manufacturing, then you realize that here entire electronic manufacturing is completely going to be waste until unless what you have, semiconductor. So अभी आप किस पे फोकस कर रहे हो? Semiconductor पे. So what you have did in past 10 years, China have did in one go in 1990. What you have steps taken in that last 10 years, they have did in a single instance. एक बार में पूरा. Fine. And here it is called a visionary government. Fine. Visionary government. So government's visionary position is also going to completely change the complexion of country's economic development capability. And that is why world have a very high regard for leaders like Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. Why world have a high regard for him? Do you think Singapore have been changed? The geographical location of Singapore is remain same. And age-old ancient city, which was very poor, but with the visionary idea of Lee Kuan Yew, they have completely translated. So when Mr. Modi started doing all these emphasis, let's go for manufacturing, let's go for make in India, then a Global Times of Chinese newspaper. In China, newspapers are completely under the state control. Fine. So their newspaper is Global Times. Fine. So Global Times wrote an article and they called Mr. Modi as a one person of a China who have completely revolutionized. So after Mao's death, fine, when Mao was died in China, then the leadership was transferred to other Chinese leader. And this Chinese leader have completely changed the Chinese economic system, and he said that state run will be there. Economy will be state run. But state run economy is going to be run like a capitalist system. So private companies, fine, private companies will not there. Companies will be government owned, but they will act like a private companies, capitalist. So state itself become a capitalist. So Chinese government become a capitalist. So this is why majority of the Chinese companies, if you'll see that at the bottom, they are being owned by, maybe look like a private sector, but ultimately they are owned by whom? They are owned by Chinese state media or Chinese state politicians. And that is why sometimes government of India or any other country's government, they do not give a high technology access to Chinese companies. Fine. So these are the certain things. But ultimately, until unless you are not going to bring the entire manufacturing line in your country, it is not going to work. Fine. So right there, Electronic Components Manufacturing Scheme rolled out in April 2025. Rolled out in April 2025 with outlay of 22,000 crores. With outlay of 22,000 crores. Right, one more point. India's semiconductor push arrives at a critical juncture. JUNCTUCTURE, critical juncture, with global demand projected to hit 1 trillion by 2030. 1 trillion by 2030. The introduction of ISM 2.0, and Shakti initiative, not biopharma Shakti initiative of nuclear energy. Fine. So Shakti initiative, write in the brackets. Sorry, Shanti initiative, coupled with an enhanced financial outlay will not only address India's semiconductor requirement, but also make India a global power in semiconductor manufacturing. So yesterday we have talked about the importance of critical minerals. Fine. And I told you that government have decided to go for corridor in how many states? 4 states or 5 states? Which are? Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Just write few details of this. Right? In November 2025,